All right, so you're thinking about becoming an OSHA-authorized trainer. That's awesome. But before you even get started, you've got a huge decision to make: OSHA 510 or OSHA 511. And listen, this isn't a small choice. You get it right, you're set. But if you get it wrong, well, you could end up on a completely different career path than you wanted. So today, we're going to make sure you choose the right path for you. I know, it looks so simple, right? The numbers are just one digit off. But don't let that fool you. This right here, this is the fork in the road. This is the choice that is literally going to define your entire career as a trainer. And the stakes here are really, really high. Choosing the wrong course isn't just some small mistake you can just brush off. No way. It's a total misalignment with where you're trying to go. We're talking about wasted time, a whole lot of wasted money, and a detour that puts you on a career track you never even wanted to be on.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break it all down. We'll look at the two main paths: construction versus general industry. We'll map out the road to becoming a trainer, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly which lane is yours.
All right, let's dive into path number one. If your daily life involves hard hats, steel-toed boots, and that constantly changing, controlled chaos of a construction site, well, this is your world. This is all about site-specific safety. So this is the OSHA 510. The full fancy name is Occupational Safety and Health Standards for the Construction Industry. The key thing to remember here is that this entire course is built around one specific rulebook, 29 CFR 1926. You can basically think of that as the safety Bible for anything and everything that happens on a construction site.
So what does this actually mean in practice? Well, this course is designed specifically for the organized chaos of construction sites. You know, those high-risk places that look different every single day. The training really drills down on the big stuff: fall protection, scaffolding, excavation, and of course, what OSHA calls the Fatal Four. And let me be crystal clear about this. The 510 is your non-negotiable ticket. Without it, you can't even think about taking the OSHA 500, which is the actual trainer course for construction.
So, who should be taking this course? It's really for the folks on the ground, the ones in the trenches and in the site trailer. We're talking about construction safety managers, field supervisors, site safety coordinators. You get the picture. If your boots are covered in dust at the end of the day because you're out there making sure people stay safe on an active job site, then yeah, this is 100% your lane.
Okay, let's switch gears completely and look at the other path. We're leaving the construction site behind. Now, we're not talking about places that are built and then disappear. We're talking about safety inside permanent, fixed locations.
And that brings us to OSHA 511, which stands for Occupational Safety and Health Standards for General Industry. Now, the scope of this one is huge. It pretty much covers every industry except construction, agriculture, and maritime. And its rulebook, that's 29 CFR 1910. With this one, the whole focus shifts. We're not in those dynamic job sites anymore. We're talking about stable, predictable environments, like factories, warehouses, even hospitals. And because the environment is different, the hazards are different. So the training zeroes in on things like machine guarding, lockout/out, and chemical safety. And yep, you guessed it, just like the 510, this course is the absolute must-have prerequisite for its own trainer course, the OSHA 501. So who's this for? Well, we're looking at safety pros in manufacturing, plant safety officers, warehouse managers. You see the pattern. It's also for EHS coordinators, that's environmental, health, and safety, and even safety staff in healthcare. Basically, if you're in charge of safety in a place that has 4 walls and a permanent address, OSHA 511 is your starting block.
Okay, so now we see the two different starting points. But how do you get from taking one of these courses to actually becoming an authorized trainer? Let's walk through that journey step by step. The goal here is to become an authorized outreach trainer. That's someone OSHA officially gives the green light to teach those 10 and 30-hour safety classes.
And this really breaks it down nice and simple. You've got OSHA 5110 on one side, that's construction, the 1926 standard for job sites, and it leads to becoming a construction trainer. Then you have OSHA 511 on the other side. That's general industry, the 1910 standard for places like factories, and that leads to becoming a general industry trainer. See? 2 totally separate tracks.
And if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this: they are not interchangeable. You just can't take the 510 and then decide, hey, I think I'll be a general industry trainer now. It doesn't work that way. You can't mix and match, period. End of story. So let's look at the actual path for construction. First up, you've got to complete the OSHA 510. That's step 1. Then, step 2, you have to prove you have 5 full years of safety experience, specifically in construction.
Once you've got those two things locked down, then and only then can you take the OSHA 500 trainer course. You pass that, and boom, you're an authorized outreach trainer for construction. And the path for general industry? It's pretty much an exact mirror. You start by completing the OSHA 511, then you need 5 years of safety experience in general industry. After that, you take the OSHA 501 trainer course, and if you pass, you're officially an authorized outreach trainer for general industry. Oh, and here's a quick pro tip for both paths. If you have a relevant college degree or a professional certification like a CSP, that's a certified safety professional, you might be able to knock that 5-year requirement down to just 3. So that's definitely something to look into. Now, there's one more really important detail. You can't just sign up for these courses anywhere online. They are only offered through authorized OSHA Training Institute Education Centers, or OTI for short. A lot of times, these are connected to universities or other major safety organizations. Okay, we've laid out the 2 different paths. Now let's get practical and talk about how you make the right call for your career. I see people make some of the same mistakes over and over, and they can be really costly. The biggest one? Taking the 510 when all your experience is in manufacturing or the other way around. Another huge mistake is not taking that 5-year experience requirement seriously. Trust me, it's a hard rule. And maybe the biggest trap is thinking of this as just another certificate to tack onto your resume. It's so much more than that. It's you declaring your specialty. Think about it from a hiring manager's point of view for a second. Imagine they're hiring a safety manager for a huge construction project. They're scanning resumes, and they see yours. And it says OSHA 511. That's an instant red flag. It tells them you might not get the specific risks they deal with every day. It works the other way too. A manufacturing plant sees OSHA 510 on a resume. It's an immediate mismatch. Here's the bottom line. A good hiring manager can spot a mismatch on your resume in like 5 seconds flat. Having the right course isn't just about checking a box. It's proof. It's you showing them that you are all in on their specific world of safety. It proves you speak their language. All right, we've gone through the what, the why, and the how. So let's wrap this up and talk about your clear next step to lock in your future as a trainer. So here it is. This is the big takeaway. If you're serious about this, don't let the course number decide your career path. You need to flip that around. Let your career, your experience, and your goals decide which course you take. Figure out your industry lane first. Once you're crystal clear on that, which course to choose becomes super, super obvious. Look, making this choice is really the cornerstone of your whole journey. So if you want a complete roadmap to becoming an OSHA outreach trainer, I'm talking everything from finding an OTI Ed Center near you to getting ready for the exam, just comment trainer path below.